Hi, YouTube. I noticed the past 5, maybe 10 years that there's been a lot of attack on wealthy Americans, particularly wealthy white Americans. Um, and I just wanted to say that people should stop attacking the privilege, whether they're privileged um, because they parents they inherited wealth from their parents, or they privileged because they worked hard, or they privileged because they got educated and found new ways to make money and run businesses. However, they became privileged. I think this is really an example of the de-evolution of the human race for poor people, uneducated people, or people that's not doing very well. The poor, the people that's struggling, whatever the case may be. This is shameful to attack people, even if it's just verbally or just any type of way. It's a shame to attack people for having what you wish you had. And it's not America is the best country in the world. Even in this terrible state that we're in now, we still live in the best country in the world. Our government does more for its citizens than any other country on planet Earth. But the government doesn't owe anybody anything. The government doesn't owe you a life. The government will help you get established. People from all over the world come to America to get established, and often the government helps them to do so. But you have to generate your own wealth and stop blaming other people. It's not the government, it's not the America's fault, it's not the rich fault that you're not doing well and your parents weren't doing well and your grandparents weren't doing well. Maybe it's your family's fault. Maybe they don't have the mindset to leave something to their children. Maybe your parents spent all their money on frivolous things like cars and clothes and jewelry and didn't leave you anything. It's not the wealthy people's fault that happened, if that's what happened to you. It's not, nobody owe you anything. And another thing, while I'm on the subject, these first generation and second generation immigrants come to this country and automatically they think they're supposed to tell Americans how to live. First of all, you don't get to tell American, if you don't like how the American government run things and how Americans live here, you can always go back to your own country, especially those that came here on their own free will. And I had a discussion with a woman a few days ago. We had a discussion, and I think she was very disappointed because she was expecting me to agree with her. She was just talking about Trump and talking about the government and, American government and stuff like that. And she accusing people of, not making Mexicans unwelcome. And, and I pointed out to her, Mexicans have been welcome in this country for generations. And we have Mexicans in government. We have Mexican companies. Mexicans are well established here in America. That's not even an argument there, But what people have a problem with, and what people are currently have a problem with, is illegal Mexicans, and people coming here and just messing up the economy, messing up how everything has been established. People that have not put into this country, they have not contributed to building this country, and they just want to come here illegally and take advantage of America. And yes, and by the way, just to so we'll be clear, I'm Republican, okay, and I'm a Trump supporter, not because, well, I don't even have to explain. I just support Trump, and I believe Trump is what America needs for. We need somebody radical in the White House. America needs somebody radical to do something about the problem. It's the time for talking about the problem has passed. We need somebody that's able to actually do something and willing to do something about the problems that we have in this country. And before you beat up Trump, I think before anybody speak bad about the American president, be it Mexicans, blacks, whites, Americans, non-Americans, you have to take in consideration one thing. Somebody voted for Trump. He didn't just get in office um, by pulling straws. The American public voted for Donald Trump, and he's the president. And I never do like when I witness people disrespecting the president, whether it's President Bush, President Clinton, President Washington. It doesn't, whoever. The office of, that's the highest office of the United States, and to disrespect the president of the United States, it makes you really look stupid, because you're here voluntarily. You know, whether you came here voluntarily or you were born here, you're here voluntarily, and you should always, support whoever makes it to the highest office of this country. You should support them. And if you don't like them, then next time around you have 4 years to vote them out. But obviously somebody likes Trump. And I think a lot of people that's not very intelligent haven't realized that. And I think some people are just afraid to admit that they actually like Trump, and we're actually hoping that he does something to fix some of the issues that we have in this country. And I don't believe that one man, one president, can do it in 4 years, not even in 8 years. But I hope that he gets us off, get the country off to a good start. And well, and I hope that I'm praying for Donald Trump, and I'm hoping that he has a lot of success. And I believe a lot of people, we're tired. The real Americans here are tired of the problems that America has. And I think one thing a lot of people are realizing, that you cannot please everyone. America, for centuries, the borders have been open. People have been free to come here virtually with, without qualifying any type of way. We take in everybody else's trash. Other countries, you have to be independently wealthy. You have to qualify. You have to have a certain amount of skills to offer a certain amount of skills. You have to be self-sufficient to go to their country, to live in their country. And but America, we don't have virtually any of those qualifications. People just come here, and derelicts from all over the place, all over the world, and they get to come here, and they get to live, and they get to enjoy the government. They get to enjoy the money that American taxpayers have paid into all their lives. And then they get to talk about America. So I think people from other countries, this is just my channel, so this is just me saying, I think you should tell the people from the country that you're from, tell them how to live, tell them how to run their government. Don't come to America and tell Americans how Americans should live. And what else I wanted to talk about? Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about being privileged and being poor. If you're poor and you want to do better for yourself, then you need to be doing that. You need to be doing something. In fact, people don't realize that. I'm not going to go into it in this video, but time is running short. Time is running short, okay? And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then don't worry about it. You're either prepared or you're not. And you should look around, you know, should go beyond your own living room couch. Go beyond your own front porch. You know, see what's happening. You know, add things up for yourself. America, we have a lot of prisons being built. Okay? They don't just spend taxpayer, you know, the government don't waste money building something that they don't intend on using. Okay, we're building more prisoners. We've been building more prisons. We're building, a lot of people are building more tiny homes. And the tiny home fashion is not just something people are doing for the sport of it. Smart people are downsizing, getting out of that 30-year mortgage, and I believe the next generation, maybe 2 generations from now, our children and our grandchildren are going to laugh in disbelief that we used to sign up for 30-year mortgages. Do you realize how much can happen in 30 years? How much natural things can happen, how many disasters can happen in 30 years. You know, you can get sick, you can die, the breadwinner could pass on, and then the family is not able to pay the mortgage. You get a divorce, you're not able to pay the mortgage. Just anything can happen. You lose your job, you're not able to pay the mortgage. You can have the best intentions in the world. In 30 years, something is bound to happen to each and every one of us. And most people never get to pay off a mortgage. I know a few people that paid off a mortgage, but most people I know, they're not able to pay it off. They never actually pay off a 30-year mortgage. And most of the time they end up taking out a second mortgage when they have a crisis. Second, and I even know people that are taking out third mortgages. So yes, in the future it's going to be ridiculous, you know, when people hear about how we used to do 30-year mortgages. I'm not even interested in a 15-year mortgage. But the society in general is getting smart and realizing that it's best to be self-sufficient. You know, you have a lot of people, and you know, you can call these people whatever you want, you know, radicals, you know, just whatever names you come up with. People always have some snaggy little name to call somebody. But these people that's homesteading, getting their own land, they purchasing land, they building homes or having homes built that they can afford. That is the way to go. And as soon as you have the opportunity to do the same, I recommend that you do. Now back to attacking people, wealthy Americans, white Americans, you know, white wealthy Americans, what a lot of people like to call privilege. Okay, I think a lot of poor people, they find the white Americans an easy target, but they overlook the black wealthy. There's a lot of black wealthy Americans as well, but they're not subject to the same attacks. And I believe one of the reasons for that is because people don't, you know, they feel like, well, they're black, you know, we're just going to attack the white ones, and that'll be okay. That's acceptable. But let me tell you something. Black educated wealthy Americans don't want to be bothered with you either. Black people that's made it to the top, doing well, live in safe neighborhoods, they don't want to be bothered with poor, ignorant, uneducated people that got a bunch of problems. And I'm not talking about the people that's just temporarily down on their luck. Because if you know anything about some of the famous African Americans, a lot of them were down on their luck. A lot of white Americans were down on their luck as well at one time. But a lot of people were temporarily homeless. Tyler Perry was temporarily homeless. Steve Harvey was temporarily homeless. Um, a whole lot of people went through hardship. Oprah Winfrey went through different hardship. We're not talking about these people. And I love it how just lazy, uneducated, simple-minded people try to blend in with hard-working, thinking, compassionate, civilized people. They try to blend in with them. They say, well, you know, we all need help. And no, you don't need help. It's not our fault that your father didn't care about you and didn't help bring you up, and so you grew up stupid. It's not America's fault. You know, if your mother didn't know who your father was, so you grew up without a father, and so you living under this generational curse. That's not everybody's fault. You need to get yourself together. If you either want to escape those type of conditions or you don't. Don't bother everybody else with your problems because you don't want to do anything. The American government will help you, but the American government is not going to make you wealthy and put you up in a mansion somewhere and feed you steak and lobster every day just because you're crying about it. So if all you want to do is have a bunch of babies and sell drugs, then don't blame everybody else for you being stuck where you are, for you being stuck in the neighborhood that you are, for you not getting educated. There's education for free. The main thing you need to do is get on the move. Stop staying where you are. If you're in a bad place, stay on the move. Ask for help. Go to where there's help for you if that's what you want to do. I was watching this show where these men, they were having all these babies by all these different women, and it just really tickled me how people constantly are trying to blame other people for problems that they create. This one guy, I can't remember his name, but he had 28 children, and I can't remember the number of women. I think it was like 14 different women. Okay, he wasn't incredibly handsome, and he definitely wasn't incredibly smart. So I would bet my last $20 that this guy is a drug dealer, and he seduced women with drug money. Maybe take them on a $5,000 shopping spree or whatever. And I also suspect that the women that he all of these women that he impregnated were simple-minded too, or most of them were. Because I didn't see anything else that would attract a woman with any sense to him. But nevertheless, if in this day and age, let me give you a tip. In this day and age, having sex with multiple people is Russian roulette. Okay? And everybody knows, just because you never left your community, everybody knows what's going on. Everybody knows that who the drug dealers are, and why they have a lot of women, and why they have 3 or 4 women pregnant at the same time, and everybody catching STDs at the same time. You need to just get yourself together. First of all, as far as the men go, you men that conduct yourself like that, you need to stop spreading your seed around like it's fertilizer, number 1. And then 2, on the women, young ladies, you just need to close your legs. You just need to, and I'm sorry, but you just need to stop it. Stop having this casual sex. Men are casual animals, even the best of them. You have to stop being casual. One of the sex, the females or the males, one of us have to be the more civilized one. In every country on planet Earth, that responsibility has fallen on the woman. You can say it's unfair or whatever, but I'm telling you, you taking sex casually is just going to continue to lead you down a path that you don't want to go. A path where you're just going to be one of many women. A path where you're just going to you know, continue to catch STDs. A path where you're going to be a single mom, whether you want to or not. You need to leave these guys alone. Stop having sex with these men. Don't even let them be around you. You might, if you're having a glass of wine on a Wednesday afternoon, don't even let any undesirables be around you. If you can't find any quality people, men and women, to hang out with, hang out by yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. And you need to keep people at a distance. You can be friends with people, but they don't need to be all in your house and all around you when you're getting ready to relax and go to bed or watch Netflix or whatever they call it. You know, they talking about Netflix and chill and stuff. That's how they a new method of seducing females. You know, it's just ridiculous. Oh, well, see, since I'm doing this video, and I'm going to wrap it up real quick. The same thing, okay, if you're poor, you're down on your luck or whatever, don't beat up people that got their stuff together, okay? Don't beat up people that got their life together. Don't be attacking people that have their life together. Take that time and get your life together. And stop trying to force yourself on people. Then this is where I want to go with this gay and transgender, transsexuals, whatever. First of all, just because a doctor is willing to manipulate your body, that doesn't make you whatever it is you want to be. Okay? Stop trying to, if you're if you homosexual, transgender, whatever it is that you may be, if you're not a heterosexual, if you're not a full-fledged man, and if you're not a full-fledged woman, stop trying to get other people to accept you. It's just like the other day, it was something about some transgender was upset because they didn't have anything to say about transgenders on BET. You know, this goes for a lot of people, but I'm talking about the homosexuals and the gays and the lesbians and all those people right now. Stop trying to pull everybody down with you, okay? America doesn't need to be a giant orgy where everybody is doing anything with anybody. And then I notice how they trying to send in these subliminal messages about children having the ability to choose, you know, if they're man or woman. You know, children don't know jack, okay? That's why we have the law of 18. When you're 18, if you still feel like you're a man in a woman's body or a woman in a man's body after you turn 18, then you can do whatever you want. But until then, your parents make the decisions for you, or the government makes the decision for you, okay? Or law enforcement makes the decision for you. You should not be able, and I know some parents do this, but just in my opinion, but that's the parent. You know, you do what you want with your children. You know, it's within legal, you know, of course. But if a 14-year-old wants breast implants and she wants double D's or whatever the case may be, and she's only 5'2" and 120 pounds, but she wants double D breasts, that is, you know, I would hope somebody rescue her and keep her from harming herself and making herself deformed. You know, that's a perfect example of children do not have the capacity to make permanent decisions. You know, they can just choose what type of ice cream they want. You know, they can choose what color sweater they want to buy, things like that. But permanent life changing decisions, children cannot make. and should not make. Some may be capable of making them, but to err on the side of caution, make them wait till they're 18. If you still feel like if you want to go to the doctor and have all this stuff done to you, whatever, but let it be an adult making an adult decision. And these homosexuals and transgender people, they see what's happening now is you give a person an inch, they take a mile. See, they want you to, they want to, they sending these little signals, these little messages about, children. Children should be able to decide for themselves. And, that's just leading to something else. See, and before you know it, see, we have to realize we're dealing with spirits here. But I know this spirits is too heavy for most of you guys, so I'm just going to say this. You give these people an inch, they're going to take a mile. See, they want America to just feel like, transgenders want people to say, oh, well, it doesn't make a difference, if you're male or female. There's really no difference between male or female. See, y'all almost made me forget that I'm a lady. I am going to be a lady on this channel, so God help me. There is a difference between male and female, and if I have to explain that to you, then this video is not for you. There is difference between male and female, a giant difference. Psychological differences, physical differences, emotional differences. It's all kind of differences between men and women. And now they're trying to say that this one guy was saying, in the Breakfast Club or whatever, was saying that the doctors don't know, the doctors just say whatever they feel like saying that day. See, this is the type of foolishness that you have to contend with when you try to, heterosexuals and privileged America and everybody is trying to be compassionate with homosexuals and transgenders. But these guys are vicious. They don't like women. I mean, we know they don't like women sexually, but they don't like women, period. While we're trying to be compassionate to them, we're actually under attack from them. So, and another thing they have to, I believe in, I don't believe in attacking anybody because they're different. But at the same time, you have to understand that people pull away from strangeness. Being a homosexual is strange. I don't care if you were born homosexual. I don't care if your uncle made you a homosexual or your neighbor down the street made you turn homosexual or you believe that you were born homosexual. It doesn't matter. You're strange. You're not normal. Okay? We're normal. This is how God made man and God made woman. And it's not even a religion thing, but having some religion is nothing wrong with that. And homosexuals and transgenders, they want the whole country, the whole American country, they want the whole American country to just drop all our morals. It's okay if you have sex with a woman. It's okay if you have sex with a man. It's okay if you have sex with a child. It's okay if you have sex with a horse. It's okay if you have sex with your sister or your brother. And really, that is basically where we are right now. And, okay, I don't want my video to run too long, but you need some morals. You're strange. Even animals pull away from strangeness. Humans are trying to be compassionate with you guys, with you gay guys and you lesbians or whatever it is you want to be called. I'm not really up on it, but humans are trying to be civilized. But the perfect name for you guys, okay, I won't say the perfect name. The most appropriate name for you guys is when you were called queer. You're strange. And there's nothing wrong with that. But don't try to be accepted as normal when you're not. But instead of arguing and having an argument with you, nature will fix a lot of things. And we won't have to guess. I'm hoping that our government, with President Donald Trump leading the way, will help restore the moral standards of our country and establish some laws so immigrants is just not running the country over, and homosexuals are not just doing whatever they want and influencing children to be strange and queer as they. It's not healthy. Heterosexuals, and I just noticed how privileged people, wealthy people, educated people, heterosexuals, is getting to the point where people are afraid to speak up. People are parading about gays and lesbians to the point where if a heterosexual even stand up straight and say anything, they subject to all kind of backlash. But I say no. Don't be afraid to be a heterosexual, because that is how you were naturally born to be. We're compassionate. We treat people humanely, but being attacked for being a heterosexual, being attacked for being a person that that's healthy, that can see, that have 2 arms instead of 3. No, we're normal people, and we're compassionate to people that have disabilities. We're compassionate to people that have different deformities, things like that. But we don't parade them as being normal. There are people that we put under our wing, and we help them, and we protect them, and we help them get where they need to go and live the best life that they can live. But we don't say that it's normal to be blind. We don't say it's normal to be deaf. You can be deaf and learn 3 different languages, but you're still deaf, and it's not normal. There's nothing wrong with it. We're not necessarily saying that there's anything wrong with being having a disability or being different. I believe homosexuality is a disability, or more so a sickness, but nevertheless, it's not normal. That's for sure. So, and also, once again, instead of poor people and, people that's non-Americans, or, people that just not getting here, or whatever the case may be, instead of forcing yourself on Americans or forcing yourself on privileged people, create your own thing. Do your own thing. Establish your own business. Create your own club. I'm pretty sure if I try to join the Ku Klux Klan, that I probably won't get admitted. I might not even want to be admitted. But one thing about the Ku Klux Klan, they don't bother people. At least the ones I know, modern day Ku Klux Klan, they just don't bother you. If they don't want to be bothered with you, then they won't bother you. You won't get a letter in the mail, saying invitation to the Ku Klux Klan membership or whatever. Okay, if you want to be a member somewhere, develop your own club. Develop your own stores. And one thing we can all take from the Chinese, and if you notice one thing about Chinese people, they don't try to force themselves on anybody. They have their own. They too busy doing their own thing, and everybody could take a lesson from that. If you want something, establish your own self. Stop whining and crying. And I'm saying this to everybody, Mexicans, blacks, whatever. If you want something, get your own thing. Stop trying to get white people to let you into their club or let you into their company. Build your own company, okay? You know, and if you notice, if you go to Chicago, there's a Chinatown. You go to LA, there's a Chinatown. You go to New York, there's a Chinatown. Every major country, well, almost every major city in the United States has a Chinatown. And why is that? Because Chinese do their own thing. And you should do the same. Leave other people alone. And another thing, just get yourself together. Leave other people alone. Get your own, stop trying to say, well, they won't hire me. Get your own company. Okay, and first of all, and I just got to say this. I got to say this. It's not Americans' fault. It's not the rich people's fault. You know, you want to be rich, but you want to tear the current rich down. It's not other people's fault that you don't know who your father is, or because your father used to spread his seed around like fertilizer. It's not other people's fault. Or your mother don't know who your father is. It's not. You need to take that up with her. You need to take that up with your father. You need to get yourself together. No matter how messed up your parents are, or your cousins and your uncles and your aunties, and stuff, no matter how messed up your family is, nobody owes you anything. If you're not on the move, if you're not trying to better yourself, then don't think anybody's going to stop long enough. Don't think anybody's going to stop what they're doing long enough to help you do anything. Because don't nobody want anybody else's problem. People have their own problem. No matter how much money they have, no matter how much land or property they have, there's only 24 hours in a day. There's 24 hours a day, and most of us are busy every second of it. Get your act together and stop worrying about the privilege and the people that had parents and grew up with a healthy childhood, got educated, bought some property, built on it, or inherited some property. Stop hating on the wealthy and get your act together. Thanks, YouTube.